Hey, hi guys, this is Bakkappa. Welcome back to Test Automation Tool Selenium. In this Selenium C .NET NUnit tutorial, we will discuss. These are the high-level agenda for the today's Selenium C NUnit tutorial. The first one will discuss what is setup attribute and tear down attribute. Next, we will discuss category attribute. Then we'll discuss how to handle drop-down list by using Selenium C#. Then finally, we'll discuss how to debug Selenium C# automation scripts. So let us jump to the folder where we have created a project in the previous Selenium C# NUnit tutorial. This is where I have created my project in the previous tutorial. So let us open this particular folder. So once you open this particular folder, so here you'll be seeing all the files .vs packages, and this is the project name. So you need to double click on the .sln file. Here just I'm reopening that particular project which we have created in the previous Selenium C# NUnit tutorial. So it will take a few seconds to load the project. Yeah. So let me give you a high level explanation what we have done in a previous Selenium C# tutorial. So we have created one solution, under that we have one project. So this is a by default class which is given by the NUnit Visual Studio template. So in this particular test class, we have defined total 3 tests, that is test method 1, test method 2 and test method 3. All 3 methods are coming over here after once you rebuild this particular solution. So basically this particular TestFixture attribute will be using to represent a particular class, and this particular test attribute will be using for representation of the test cases, you can say. So and we have created one more class called base test. Under the base class folder we have created one class called base test. Under that we have defined OneTimeSetUp and a OneTimeTearDown. So this particular one-time setup attribute, this particular method will be getting executed only one time before executing anything in that particular class. And in the same way, OneTimeTearDown, this particular method will be executing only one time after executing all these 3 test methods. So this base test we have inherited in a test class by using the colon here. So basically if you run this particular group as a node threads, so this particular browser will be launching only one time and it will execute all 3 test methods, then simply it will close the browser. We have identified this particular text box, email text box, and we are entering some values into the email text box. Then simply we are closing the browser. So this is where we have identified by using that XPath to this particular field. Then we are entering this particular value into this particular text field. So in the same way we have copied another 2 test methods, test method 2 and test method 3. So let us discuss now what is that setup attribute will do and tear down attribute will do. So I will go to the base test. So in this case, what I will do is, instead of one time setup, I will do only, I'll write it as only setup. So this is our attribute. So let me explain you what exactly this setup attribute will do and teardown attribute will do. This particular method what you have written for launching the web browser, and it maximize it and it enters this particular URL into the Chrome browser. Then this close method will, what it will do is just simply it will close all the driver instances. So the basic difference between this one time setup and setup is, one time setup represents it will run only one time before running any of the test scripts in that particular class. So here difference for this particular teardown is, one time teardown it will execute only after running all the test methods in this particular test class. So setup what it will do is, it will execute before test method 1, before test method 2 and before test method 3. In the same way, teardown attribute will, this particular set of statements will be executed after executing test method 1 and after executing test method 2 and after executing test method 3. So previously just I have made changes to this particular attribute. Before it was one time teardown, one time setup, and this was previously one time teardown. So basically I have changed the attribute names. So in this case what will happen, so every test method will be executing separately. So it will execute, it will open the browser and it will perform the action which you have mentioned in the test method 1, and separately second time it will open the browser and it will execute whatever you have written under the test method 2, and then third time again it will open the separate browser and it will execute whatever you have statement written under the test method 3. So when we used the one time setup and one time teardown, it was only one time opening the browser, only one time it was closing the browser after executing all the test scripts. So if you use this particular setup and teardown, it will execute before executing this particular test method 1 and before executing this particular test method 2 and before executing this test method 3. So let me run this particular all the test scripts. So in this case it will execute one time setup and teardown before and after each of the test methods. As it is executing now the test method 1. Now if you look at here, test method 1 got executed. So it is separately, it opened the browser and it executed test method 1 and it is closing the web browser. And now it is executing the test method 2. It has already opened this particular browser. So when we are using one time setup and one time teardown, only it was launching only one time browser and it was closing that particular browser at the end of the execution. Now test method 2 is got executed. Now test method 3 is getting executed. I think my internet connection is a little bit slow today. Yeah, simply it is entering some values into that email text box and it will close the web browser. That's all. So that's all for this setup attribute and tear down attribute. Let us jump to the category attribute now. So category is nothing but basically you will be grouping a test cases, something like smoke testing, regression testing, user acceptance testing. So you are grouping a test scripts and you are executing that particular Selenium C# automation scripts. So the syntax for that is just you need to write for the test, you need to just group into that particular group. I mean, this test method 1 is there. So I need to assign this particular test method 1 to the some group like smoke testing, regression testing, like that. So for that you need to use test comma, then you need to use a category as a inbuilt keyword. Under that you need to specify the name. This particular test method 1 belongs to the, like in my case I'll write smoke testing. So test method 1 belongs to the smoke testing category, and in the same way I'll specify total I have 3 test methods, test method 1, test method 2 and test method 3. Now the test method 1 is belongs to the smoke testing category, and in the same way I will write test method 3 for the smoke testing category. So this is the name. You can specify anything based on the need, or you can specify the any module names like that also. And I'll specify test method 2 as a belong to the regression testing category. Yeah, that's all. So just you rebuild this particular solution and you will be getting listed over here, like what are the different categories of test cases we have. Just clean it first time, because if some conflicts are there, it is going to get deleted, and after that just go and rebuild the solution. So if you look at here, so it is first one, based on the category it is listing all the test scripts. So regression testing and the smoke testing, we have defined total 2 groups. First one is a smoke testing and second one is a regression testing. Under smoke testing we have 2 test methods, that is test method 1 and the test method 3. So these 2 test methods are listed under the regression testing, and one more group we have smoke testing, and one more group we have regression testing. Under this particular category we have only one method called test method 2, that is listed under the regression testing here. So you can execute any of the groups, right click on that particular group and say run selected test. So only smoke testing Selenium C# scripts will be getting executed. So in smoke testing, we have two test methods, that is test method 1 and test method 3. So only those two test methods will be getting executed. This is how you can group your Selenium C# scripts and you can execute based on the need. You can group like smoke testing, regression testing, UAT testing, and based on the module name, like module 1, module 2, module n, you can create as a groups. Based on the need, you can execute that particular modules and you can report the result as well. Now the test method 3 is getting executed. In my case, today I have internet connectivity very slow, so that's the reason it is taking too much of time. Now if we look at here, you'll be seeing all the results. See, and here you can see that how many seconds it has taken to execute test method 1 and test method 3 as well. So if you go to this particular icon, here you can see the list of options. So based on this also you can group your test cases. In my case, it is by traits we have grouped the test scripts. And say for example, if you have multiple projects, you can select as a project. Based on the project wise, all the test scripts will be getting listed over here in the left side. And based on the class, if you say class, so in my case only I have test class. If you have n number of classes, based on the class it will list under all the test scripts under that particular class. So based on the duration, so it will list you the all the test methods. If it is first category is greater than 1 second, and one more category will get greater than 100 seconds and all. So based on the time taken, it will list you the all the test methods. Based on the outcome, passed or failed, no run test scripts. So in my case, passed test are 2 and no run test scripts are 1. Likewise, you can group your test scripts. So just I'll make it to the traits only. So it will list me the all the group wise Selenium C automation scripts. That's all for the category attribute. This is how you can categorize your Selenium C# NUnit scripts. Next point is, now we have discussed setup attribute and teardown attributes. Next we have discussed category attribute. Then the third point is we need to discuss how to handle the drop down list. If you go to the facebook.com, this particular website, here you can see the drop down list. So what I will do is I will identify this particular month drop down list and I'll try to perform some action on this particular drop down. So if you look at this particular HTML tag details, we have a select as a tag. Under that we have a multiple options. So I'll identify this particular drop down box by using the, we have multiple attributes like name, ID, title. So in my case, I'll identify this particular month drop down list by using the ID. So I'll write one XPath for this. Just select this particular tag and press Ctrl F. Here I'm just writing one single XPath to identify this particular month drop down box. So dot / star, this represent any tag. In my case, I'm identifying this particular month drop down by using the ID. So ID is equal to, we have a value called month. So if you look at here, ID is equal to, we have a month value, and you can write other attribute and value as well, no issues. So in my case, I'm identifying by using the ID as a month value. So I'll copy this particular XPath. Let me define that, declare in the test method 1 itself. Here I'm using the driver object dot find element by XPath. So just I'll paste that particular value which we have copied from this particular box. This is our web element. I'll store that into the web element type. I'll give the element name as a month drop down list. By using this element, what I will do is, we need to create the object of one class called select element to perform any activity on this particular drop down list. So that's the reason what I will do is, I'll create the object of one class called select element. I'll specify the reference as element here. I'll create by using the new operator. I'm going to create the object of select element class. So we need to pass this particular drop down, so which we have identified for this particular month. This element I'm passing on to the select element. That's all. Just you need to import the required classes. So just click on that particular class select element, just press Ctrl dot. Here you will be getting the, just it is asking us to import this particular openqa.selenium.support.ui. So select this particular statement. Now error has gone. That's all. Now rest is very simple. So there are three ways to select this particular drop down. By using the index, you can select this particular drop down values. And second one is by using the text, by entering this particular text, whatever visible text. And the third one is, you can specify the values which you are seeing under this particular select tag. So we have a option tag, under that we have value is equal to 0, 1, 2, some etc. So this particular value you need to pass, and you can select the any of the values which you wanted to select it. That's all. So let us discuss one by one how you can select a particular values based on the index and visible text and the value. Just a second, it is got stuck. Give me 1 second, guys. We'll wait for this session to be active. Just a minute, guys. Sorry for the inconvenience. Yes, guys, it is working fine now. And let us take the reference of the select element class. By using that, I'm going to select this particular drop down. Like I can select any of these values by using three options. One is by using the index. So always starts with the 0. This particular every drop down values. So in this case, 0 is nothing but month. 1 is nothing but Jan. 2 is nothing but Feb. What I will do is I will select the Jan. So what I will do is I will use this particular element object dot select by, you can see here, select by index, select by text, and select by value. First we will select the particular drop down value by using the index. Here I'll mention the 1 as a value because I wanted to select the Jan as a month. That's all. So let us select one more value from the drop down by using the text value. So the one, you have to mention the value which you are seeing on the screen. So in my case I will mention MAR, that is a March. Simply you comment, just I'm writing a comment here, select by text. The third option is by using the value you can select. Select by value. So this value accept the argument as a string type. So that's the reason you need to mention the string as a value here. So if you're selecting any dropdown by using the value, so you need to go to the HTML details. So under here you can see the option as a tag. Under that we have value is equal to 0 to select this month as a value. Month as a value from the dropdown. So in my case what I will do is I will select the June month. So that's the reason I'll use the 6 as the value. So just I'll specify the 6 value. That's all, guys. Here I'm getting the error. Let me check what exactly it is saying. So we are missing some semicolon here. That's all. The first, we are selecting that particular drop down by using the index. So this select as the Jan as the value. The second option, it will select the March as the month from this particular drop down. Then at last it will select the June value because we are specifying this particular value. So respective value is June month. So let me run this particular test, that is called test method 1. Just I will select this particular test and right click on that, just say run selected test. So what we have done is, first we have identified that particular drop down and we passed that element into the select element class, and after that we are selecting particular month by using the index and text, and finally we are selecting by using the value. So first it is going to enter some values into the email field, and it is selecting the drop down values and it is simply closing the web browser. So let us put a breakpoint and let us debug this particular test script called test method 1. So how you can set up it is perfectly getting executed. It is going to enter this particular value and it is selecting the particular Jan month, March and the June, because it is doing this operation very fastly. That's the reason we are not able to see on the screen. So let us put some breakpoint and let us debug this particular program, and you will get to know what value is getting selected over here in the first time, and the second time what value is getting selected under the month drop down. The same way we will see by we are selecting drop down by using the value as well. So let us put a breakpoint in line number 25. Just double click on that particular line number on the left side. So this is how you can debug any of the Selenium C# NUnit automation script. So just double click on that particular line number and this select the Selenium C# script, and then you can say debug selected test. So it will stop this particular execution when it reaches to this particular line. So this debugging of the Selenium C# script or Selenium JavaScript, it will be very easy to identify the issues when you are started working on the real-time projects. You'll be doing these operations again and again. So first it will enter some values over here, and before selecting any of the drop down values, I have put at the breakpoint over here. So now it is got stopped over here. So we need to go to the next step. So we have, if you want to go into the step, so you need to use the F11. Say for example, you have written some method in the somewhere classes and you called over here. So in that time, if you wanted to go into that particular method, you need to use the F11 key, and if you wanted to go forward in the same classes, you need to use the F10 keyword. Then just if you want to go forward like without debugging, just press Shift 11. So in my case, I wanted to go forward in the same classes. What I will do is just you can use the F11 from the keyboard. Otherwise, you can click on this particular icon. So what I will do is I will click on this particular icon. So now it is got executed. So it should be selected as a Jan now. Let us go to the web browser. Now it is got selected as a Jan. When you open any of the like this particular website facebook.com, so by default it is getting selected as a August. So now it is got selected as a Jan. So now it should select as a March now. If I go one step forward, if I go to this particular browser, now it is got selected it as a March. In the same way, we have specified the 6th value, so it should select the June as a month. So let us click on this particular icon. Now you go to this particular browser. Now it is June is got selected from this particular drop down. That's how you can debug any of the Selenium C# NUnit automation script. I think I have covered all the topics which I have listed for the today's Selenium C# NUnit tutorials. We have covered what setup attribute and tear down attribute does, category attribute what it does, and we have discussed also how to handle the drop down list, and we have discussed how to debug Selenium C# NUnit automation scripts. If I move to the next slide, we have discussed what is this TestFixture attribute, OneTimeSetUp attribute, OneTimeTearDown attribute, test attribute, setup attribute, and we have discussed teardown attribute, and we have discussed category attribute as well. Till this we have discussed, till category attribute we have discussed. Other attributes we will be discussing in the next Selenium C# NUnit tutorials. If you have any queries, you can drop an email to my Gmail ID. Stay tuned for the next Selenium C# NUnit tutorials. Click on subscribe button if you want to get more updates from this channel. Thank you so much for watching.